When was the meeting posted?
Yes.
Number 1 on the agenda, please.
Starting with our minutes for the meeting scheduled held on December 17th, 2015, and for minutes of meeting held for the meeting of January the 14th, 2016.
I move approval.
Seconded.
Move approval by Commissioner Krieger, second by Commissioner McCarthy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Commission will now take up number 2 on our meeting agendas with applications for special one-day licenses to sell, dispense malt beverages and wines only, or either one. First is Marta Rodriguez of the Portuguese American Lowell Youth Center, 739 Central Street, for an event scheduled Saturday, January 30th, 2016, from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. The event is a carnival dance. Also, Joelle Geisler of UTEC for an event at the UTEC facility at 35 Warren Street for Friday, February 12th, 2016, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. The event is a string fling, a Valentine's Day dance party.
Is Joelle Geisler here? Hi, Joelle. Ladies, can you both state your name for the record, please? Okay. Marta, I know you've held a license, a one-day license before, right?
Yes, sir.
Any problems with that night?
No, sir.
How many licenses have you held?
This will be I've only held 3 of, this will be the 3rd event we hold, but we have a 4th one already approved.
Okay, that's fine. And we haven't had any problems at the
No, sir.
parties? Okay. Joelle, your first time here?
My first time, but UTEC has had licenses before.
Right, so you know what your responsibilities are as the license holder? Yes. Any questions for Secretary Winter or this commission concerning the license? No. Commissioners?
Move approval.
Commissioner Krieger? Question?
Yeah, I was going to ask, I think a UTEC is being sort of an under-18 forum, so this is for adults to raise money?
Yeah, it's an evening event after our programming hours, open to the public. It's a ticketed event, so it's not geared towards our youth.
You'll be keeping an eye and sorting the young from the old then?
Yes, definitely.
Great. I second.
Motion by Commissioner McCarthy, seconded by Commissioner Krieger. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Ladies, good luck with your events.
Commission will now take up number 3 on the meeting agenda, application for special one-day licenses to dispense wines only at an art gallery. Patricia Donahue has 3 applications for the event for art opening receptions at the Gallery Z at 167 Market Street, starting with Sunday, February 7, 2016, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. A second reception is scheduled for Sunday, March 6, 2016, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And the third reception is scheduled for Friday, April the 1st, 2016, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Good evening. State your name for the record.
I'm Patricia Donahue.
How are you, Patricia?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I know I've seen you before this board before.
I represented Zeitgeist Gallery last year.
Okay. And tell us about your events.
Well, these are all art receptions. They're going to be a couple of hours long. We want to serve just some wine and some hors d'oeuvres to the people who come in.
Okay, just to get back to what we had first stated, have you held one of these licenses before?
I have not, no.
Okay. Do you understand your responsibilities with this license?
Yes, I do.
And who are you using as distributors for your events?
I will be the distributor for that.
Distributor meaning alcohol. Who's going to be providing your wine that night?
I'm going to use one of the recommended,
That Mr. Wynn gave you?
excuse me?
That Mr. Wynn gave you?
Yes, I have the list.
You have the list?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Commissioners?
Move approval.
Move for approval by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner McGovern. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Patricia, good luck with the 3 events.
Thank you.
Okay.
Commission will now take up a matter to do with a public hearing, opening a public hearing on the application by the Holy Ghost Society, Inc., Jose M. Santos Clerk, for an all-alcoholic beverages club license for premises at 65 Village Street. There are 3 lots, approximately 110,211 square feet, inclusive of a 1-story building, approximately 10,080 square feet, with the main function hall area, kitchen, office, bar, storage areas, and covered bar patio. The main entrance and exit from the parking area and 7 additional exits. And an outdoor function area, including an additional bar, covered seating area, and open area. It is requested that Jose M. Santos be approved as the manager of record for the Holy Ghost Society, Inc. Members of the commission, there was a public notice, a legal notice published in the Lowell Sun newspaper on January the 15th, 2016. It was required of the applicant to notify the abutters in any church, school, or hospital within a 500-foot radius.
Good evening, Counselor. State your name for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Karen Sameo, McDermott, Quilty, and Miller. To my right, I have Mr. Zesanch, which is the proposed manager of record and clerk of the nonprofit organization, and to our far right, Ms. Edwina Kamra, who is the president of said organization.
So we want to become a full liquor license rather than the 1 days. Is that correct, Counselor?
That is partially correct, Mr. Chair. By way of reference, I know that the commission is familiar with the Holy Ghost Society, and if I may,
You may.
the society has been a part of the city of Lowell since 1923. It has been the home to multiple Portuguese immigrants who have come to this country with the purpose of love and appreciation for what not only the country and this city had to offer, but at the same time, of course, wanting to honor some of their ethnic and cultural roots. And I'm very humbled to be here today because I was actually born and raised going to this organization. Everything I know about our culture has been the product of what I learned there. Like everything, when this organization first started, there was a very specific focus. It was a smaller community. There were a very limited number of events in the course of the year. We're pleased that the community has grown, and it includes now Portuguese-speaking people, including people from the Brazilian community, that it includes so many other ethnic groups in the city who enjoy participating in events at Holy Ghost Society. But the result, of course, is that there are events held with more and more frequency because there has been more and more of a demand for that. And so in the scope of the board's consideration today, of course, the issuance of an all-alcoholic license is nothing to be taken lightly, and we understand and appreciate that. And we also understand the board's legal parameters of looking at public need and common good under the Ballarin factors. And so I would respectfully submit to the board that this is a location that is certainly ideal for meeting those factors, and that you have a proven track record here before making such a significant decision. Of course, in Ballarin, we look at things like the appropriateness of the location, the character and fitness of the applicant, the impact on noise and traffic. And this board has something to measure that by. We're not here today saying we want to open a restaurant at this location 7 days a week. That's the furthest thing from the truth. The intent is to continue operating as we have operated, and that is to regularly have these cultural events on the weekends and cater to people's needs for weddings or baptisms and those kinds of things. And so based on the proven record of this particular applicant, we do hope that the board will consider issuance of one of these licenses to them. I would also simply add that the process here, of course, is a nonprofit organization, and one where elections are held annually, will be that you will see people here every year coming in to change officers and directors or the manager of record, and at that time, of course, the commission will determine the appropriateness of any future proposed manager of record. As it relates to Mr. Santos, he has extensive experience in the sale and responsible sale and service of alcoholic beverages, and so that has come over years of historically being involved in the restaurant business, but also his years of service and volunteering both to this organization and other organizations over the years.
Thank you, Counsel. Just so I'm clear, the intent is not to then open 7 days a week at all. It's basically still the weddings and the Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoon type of way you've been doing business?
As we stand here today, that is not the intent.
Okay.
I think that there may be some discussions in the future about whether that becomes something that needs to happen for the viability of the organization.
Sure.
But today, the intent is to continue with our weekend events.
Okay. I'll ask the commissioners to weigh in, but let's go through the formalities at this point and open up the public hearing.
Thank you.
At this time, we will open up the public hearing. Anybody like to speak in favor? In favor, sir? Come to the lectern. You just state your name and name for the record, please.
Certainly, it's Glenn Mello. Just so happened, I happened to be in the lobby downstairs earlier waiting for the meeting, and there's a display down there that says Faces of Immigration. And part of it is is on display of the Portuguese immigration here in the late 1890s and early 1900s. My grandparents on both sides were part of that wave. All my grandparents worked in the mills, in the textile mills here. I'm second generation. My grandfather on my mother's side was one of the founding fathers, in a sense, that purchased the land on Village Street for the Holy Ghost Society. My parents have been involved in the society and board members, and myself was also a board member, and my whole family's been involved with the society for generations. So, as Mr. Mayo mentioned earlier, that early on it was utilized for religious events and occasional feasts and a wedding here and there, and it's grown on because it is assimilation into the community of more weddings, showers, babies events, and it's grown. And the time has come, instead of the one-day liquor license applications, to go and request to have a full-time license. So I would request that the board take that into consideration and plan accordingly.
Thank you, Ms. Mello. Appreciate it. Anybody else like to speak in favor? In favor? In favor? That portion of the public hearing is closed. At this time, we'll open up the public hearing. Anybody like to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? That portion of the public hearing is closed. Questions, comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Krieger?
You know, I'm glad to see this come about, because I think that it clears up some of the loose ends that we've seen over the last couple of years. I think it's a good thing.
Thank you. Commissioner McCarthy?
I also think it's a good thing. As Mr. Krieger said, it clears up a lot of issues. You have one license, you don't have to come down here every week, every other week to see us, so I think it's a great idea.
Commissioner McGovern? All right. Personally, I did receive quite a few calls and letters stating to hopefully went in favor. In my time here on the commission, I've had nothing but good things said about the Holy Ghost Park. I do have bad memories of the Holy Ghost Park because I pitched at alumni and there were so many home runs hit off me, went into the parking lot at Holy Ghost. So that's a bad memory. But you run a very good operation over there. I've been to many weddings over there, and it's been a joy to go to them. So I'm sure we can continue that. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Move for approval by Commissioner McCarthy, seconded by Commissioner Krieger. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Santos, you understand the responsibility you have here as the manager of record?
Yes, I do.
Correct? All right. Want to wish you well, and all your members that are here tonight. Mr. Mayo,
you.
nice job.
Good luck.
Thank you very much,
Congratulations.
Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Secretary?
Mr. Chairman, we have another public hearing scheduled, number 5 on our meeting agenda. The hearing is for the application by Tuen Nguyen, doing business as the Sizzling Kitchen, for a malt beverage and wines only restaurant license for premises at 478 Merrimack Street, one unnumbered exit door west side, first floor dining room, kitchen, 800 square feet, a basement for storage, 340 square feet. There had been a legal notice published in the Lowell Sun newspaper, January 15, 2016, and it was required of the applicant to notify abutters and any church, school, or hospital within 500 feet. Mr. Chairman, I just want to speak on behalf of Tuin, who is standing before you now. Very nice person in dealing with and in filing her application, which was done quite well. However, there's one flaw in the application process that I have to convey to the board, as I understand it now. Tuin did not pick up her list of abutters from the city assessor's office in a timely way, and unfortunately was not able to send a notice to the abutters of the legal notice to be published. She did notify that there was one church within a 500-foot radius, and the Hellenic Orthodox Church, but unfortunately, the abutters were not notified. In speaking with Tuin yesterday afternoon, I suggested that the commission, though may open the hearing, but it would not benefit her if they were to take any action, such as favorable action on the application at this time, and that it would be necessary or should be required that a new legal notice be published, so that in fact she would then have an opportunity to notify the abutters of the hearing, as it's required by Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 138, Section 15A.
Good evening.
Hi.
Now, is it Tuin Nguyen?
Yes.
Okay. You understand what Mr. Nguyen has told you, what you need to do to be here in 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
All right. We'll see you here in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Krieger, I'm sorry.
Yes, I wasn't clear. I thought that Mr. Nguyen was saying that she has to refile the legal notice.
Well, I was going to ask for the board's ratification on this matter to do with the fact that, recognizing the situation yesterday afternoon, I contacted the Lowell Sun that a legal notice could possibly be republished for Monday's paper, which would be February 1st, and that should the License Commission then ratify that matter, the hearing to be held on the next regular meeting on February the 11th. Tuin now understands that once she sees that legal in the newspaper on Monday's paper, she was to send to the abutters a true copy of that notice and that'll in itself will explain that the public hearing would be held on February the 11th, 2016.
So what you're advising us is that she cannot use the notice of 15 January to go to her abutters.
Well, because that particular notice specified that Thursday, January 28th, 2016, at 6:30 p.m. would be the time in which the public hearing would be held on our application. You certainly may proceed with the hearing as scheduled, as it is in the legal notice. In fact, I should make that available to you right now.
Actually, I was wondering about using that legal notice and then having her notify the abutters with maybe a pen and ink note saying that the hearing would be our next hearing in February.
It certainly would have saved the applicant some substantial amount of money to cover the cost for the expense of that legal notice. But I'm not so sure by relying upon the published notice as you read it from the date of January 15th, in which the hearing is January 28th, that we're compliant with the letter of the law, and that is each applicant for an application for an original license or transfer of license is required to notify the abutters. within 3 days of the date of its publication. That's spelt out in that section 15A, as I referenced. And I would, probably nobody would have a problem, is what you're proposing or might suggest. But if somebody did, if one of the abutters said, I didn't get notice, or if I got the notice that was dated for a hearing to be held January 28th and had nothing to supplement that by noting that it was actually a rescheduled hearing for February the 11th, the Alcohol Beverages Control Commission could entertain a hearing on the matter of the application and potentially could cancel a license that was granted by the License Commission, should it grant such a license, cancel that license, and then have to start again from the beginning of the process in order for her, or any applicant for that matter, to have an opportunity to get a license. I am trying to, suggesting to the board is, in speaking with Tuan, is in no way, I'm not sure she fully understood or appreciated. Certainly she would not appreciate what I had said to her yesterday afternoon under the circumstances. But I would just suggest to the board that it would probably be in her best interest to have a new legal notice, to have her properly notify the abutters so that no one could question the process after the fact. That would be my point. And I would just say it's not uncommon, it's not frequent, but it has happened where somebody had not sent out the notices to the abutters as required. You could go ahead and grant the license, but it would be, she cannot file an affidavit attesting to having notified the abutters. There is a specific form that the Alcohol Beverages Control Commission includes as part of its application. It's a 15-page document, and one of those forms is the affidavit that an applicant is to use, as you'll see with the one that was just submitted for the Holy Ghost Society. And in the language of that affidavit, she's attesting, or any applicant is attesting, to having notified the abutters. She had submitted such a document, but it had her signature notarized, but it's not a valid document because she didn't notify the abutters. And that would be crucial, I think, in any appeal that may be taken by an abutter who wished to take issue with the granting of the license.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I move that we request the applicant resubmit the legal notice, notify the abutters, and we take this up the next meeting.
Motion by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner McCarthy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the motion carries. We'll see you here in 2 weeks, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Number 6 on our meeting agenda is an application had been filed in the name of Renee M. Wolterding for the transfer of the all-alcoholic beverages restaurant license from the licensee Resendez Incorporated, doing business as Red Line Pub and Grill, John Resendez, president, for the premises at 1018 Gorham Street. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Attorney John Hardigan, who has represented the Red Line Pub, Mr. Resendez, has submitted a letter, in which the licensee has signed for the transfer of its license. In the interim, John Resendez, who is the principal in the license, Resendez Incorporated, is also a principal in the property owner, the landlord. He is entered into a purchase and sale agreement with Renee Wolterding, and also a lease agreement which allows her to have access to the premises. Was brought to my attention by legal counsel for Renee, who is not John Hardigan, but Salem Tabit. And I pointed out that if that was the case, and that was the understanding in the business transaction, that if she's going in there, then the licensee ought to remove all alcohol from the premises and cease its operation. So in the communication from Attorney Hardigan, he's noted a couple of points to that effect, allowing, he as legal counsel for the Vicenders Incorporated, they're allowing Renee to have access to the premises. They're retaining the license in their possession. The transfer application would require a legal notice to be published and subsequently a hearing to be held on that transfer. I was looking at the application, and I'm wondering if, given what Renee Woltering is looking to do, that it may also necessitate an alteration of premises as well. But I would want to pursue that further with the attorney. So I would suggest to the board that possibly a hearing date would be for the second meeting in February, February the 25th, and a legal notice would be published about the second or third week in, about the second week in February. I can't give that Friday. Usually it's a Friday, minimum 14 days before that hearing date.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Krieger to schedule a public hearing, February, is that 25th, Ryan?
Yes.
Seconded by Commissioner McCarthy. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And last, we had a hearing on the allegations of misconduct by William M. Taylor, the Superintendent of Police, which is dated January 8, 2016, regarding violations that occurred on December the 27th, 2015, and that are charged against Vanna Can, the licensee of record, doing business as The Crown, a all alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee at 74 Middlesex Street. No sooner does such a letter go out for notice of hearing within 5 days after legal counsel for Vanna Can had requested a continuance, which was brought to my attention Monday afternoon. A letter subsequently was followed up by Attorney Ray Weicker on Tuesday afternoon of this week, after the agenda actually had been filed with the city clerk. Apparently, Attorney Weicker is not a full-time lawyer, but a full-time graduate student, and he's looking for, seeking counsel for Vanna Can, and unfortunately, apparently, there's no one to represent Mr. Can for tonight's hearing, and it's requested the commission ratify the continuance of this hearing for the meeting of February the 11th, 2016.
Motion by, nope, sorry, Commissioner Krieger.
So is this the place that's also having trouble with the building inspector?
Yes.
Presently, the Crown is closed.
Yes. So to that extent, they're not doing business and not getting in trouble right now. Is that true?
I guess that's true. We hope that he's not trying anything cute.
Captain Webb, nothing else going on over there?
Mr. Chairman, to the best of my knowledge, the Crown has not been open for the past couple of weekends.
Thank you, sir.
I move we kick it down the road.
Motion by Commissioner Krieger, second by Commissioner McGovern. Reschedule to our next meeting on...
Mr. Chairman, if I may just correct you on the Commissioner McGovern as the second.
Oh, no, let's not do that. Commissioner McCarthy, seconded on that.
Thank you.
Should we even have done that vote with her present? Or is that just a motion?
It's just a formality, I think.
Formality,
It's
that's-
already, the notice has been sent. It's just for you to,
All right, so let's
as
make,
long as we have a majority members,
fine.
which we have.
Just note Commissioner McCarthy on the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll see them on February 11th.
Well, can she now move to adjourn?
I think we should let her. We
Oh,
take-
move for adjournment.
All right, move for adjournment by Commissioner McGovern, seconded by Commissioner McCarthy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Everyone have a good night.